Afternoon, Debbie has made landfall and it's crossing into Georgia later on this evening. We'll talk about the immense amounts of rainfall and how far west that rain could get.
Coming up, we're talking with Homeland Security about their response efforts as Hurricane Debbie makes her way through the state.
And we are just days away from the Falcons kicking off their preseason schedule. We are catching up with the Dirty Birds at Flowery Branch ahead of this week's showdown in Miami.
And good afternoon and welcome to 11Alive News at 4. And we start, of course, with the impact of Debbie, which slammed into the coast today.
The storm came ashore as a Category 1 hurricane, and now record-setting amounts of rain could come for those who were in the path. Debbie made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast between Gainesville and Tallahassee with a maximum sustained wind of 75 miles an hour. Now, this is one of the least populated areas of Florida, but forecasters warned the slow-moving storm system could spawn catastrophic flooding across 3 states, including ours here in Georgia. So far, at least 4 deaths have been confirmed as a result of the storm.
Right now, let's go over to meteorologist Melissa Nord with our 11Alive weather impact forecast. You have been tracking this closely, so where is the storm?
Well, the storm right now is still in Florida, the center of it, but the rainfall spreads far inland and up the east coast through Georgia and into the Carolinas. But the thing with Debbie is that we've been tracking over the weekend, and we are really getting a clear message in all the models on, is that this storm is going to slow down and nearly stall off the Georgia coast and coast of South Carolina, and that will bring prolific amounts of rainfall and the potential for some significant flash flooding. Right now, that storm is right near the I-75 and I-10 corridor, kind of that exchange right there in Lake City. 65 miles per hour, moving northeast at 7 miles per hour. That forward speed movement is going to get less and less and less over the next 24 hours. I'll zoom in and show you where the center of the storm is right about here, so just north of Lake City. So the center itself is likely going to stay south and east of Valdosta. They'll miss the worst of that kind of eastern eye wall there, but the rainfall spreads throughout all of southeastern Georgia. Savannah right now under a tornado watch. And here on the northwestern side of the system, we actually have some of the outermost little rain bands that have been pushing through parts of North Georgia as well this afternoon. On live radar tracking some of those. We haven't seen any lightning this afternoon, but some brief heavy rainfall, tracking some of those between kind of East Newton County, south and east of Covington, back into Jackson and Butts County, and out towards Barnesville and Pike and Lamar counties as well. We've also seen some breezy winds today. Right now in Atlanta, you see that mix of clouds and sunshine in the background. Winds are sustained at 17 miles per hour. Some of those gusts have been higher, and temperatures right now with that high humidity feeling like the mid-90s. By tomorrow, we're looking at the storm passing through southeastern Georgia, but then, Jonathan, this storm stalls. We will talk about how close the line is with heavy rainfall between North Georgia and South Georgia. It's ahead in my full forecast.
Okay, we will see you shortly, Melissa. Thank you. And as Debbie hit the coast earlier today, Governor Brian Kemp signed an emergency order authorizing up to 2,000 Georgia National Guard troops. This is in addition to the state of emergency that he declared over the weekend. We want to get straight over to 11Alive's Brittany Klein-Peter. She is live in Midtown tonight. So, Brittany, you spoke with GMA's director within just the last couple hours. What have you learned?
That's right. So Director Chris Stallings shared with me that he wants Georgians to be prepared for heavy rainfall over the next few days, especially in the southeast portion of the state. We were able to get a look inside of the center where they are preparing for their response efforts today. Director Stallings shared that they have thousands of people in place ready to respond throughout the state, including having DNR boat teams, high water rescue vehicles, and sandbags pre-positioned.
We're starting to get reports already of homes being flooded. We're getting reports of trees on homes already there, and technically the storm is still in Florida.
We also spoke with a spokesperson with the National Guard, and they informed me that while the governor has authorized 2,000 guardsmen to be sent down to the southern portion of the state, that doesn't necessarily mean all of those individuals would be sent. The decision in the end is ultimately up to GMA. Reporting from downtown Atlanta, Brittany Klein-Peter, 11Alive News.
All right, Brittany, thanks so much, and be prepared for any changes in the weather by downloading the 11Alive app. Just scan the QR code that you see on the left of your screen and get the 11Alive weather impact forecast right at your fingertips.
And we got a red alert for you. The highway completely shut down. This was Sky Tracker actually going over the scene of 85 northbound just by Highway 58, and that backup stretched a long ways. Now let's go right to the scene on the roadways. You can see what it looks like right now. You can see crews kind of cleaning up some chemicals that were spilled on the roadway, and that tractor has now been upright off to the side, and we're seeing even delays off this road. One of the alternative routes for this was at Highway 124, and you can see speeds on 124 also getting down into the single digits, coming closer to the metro. We're looking really good. 85 the slowest, with just northbound lanes about 25 miles per hour, but we'll continue to watch your traffic and bring you more.
All right, Bubba, thank you so much. Authorities are still piecing together what led to a man being shot and killed outside of a Gordon County apartment complex. It happened around 11 last night in Calhoun at the Carriage Apartments. That's less than a mile west of the I-75 interchange with Red Bud Road. Calhoun police say an argument happened between two men when one of them, identified as 17-year-old Lowell Yancey, pulled out a gun. It's believed he then shot James Kinsey twice, then ran away. Yancey was later arrested and charged with murder. The GBI has been called in to help with the investigation. Today, the Town Center community announcing the expansion of its Alliance membership program. It's now including a 3-tiered structure that enhances member benefits. Now, those tiers are partner, supporter, and influencer. Each one is designed to provide access to member-only communications, special events, exclusive project updates, and market reports. Officials say the revised membership also helps businesses, property owners, and employees to network and get involved in their community. The Town Center community is comprised of the Town Center Community Improvement District and its nonprofit partner, the Town Center Community Alliance. Well, over the summer, the Marietta School Board passed an initiative calling for smartphones and smartwatches to be placed inside of pouches at 2 schools. And now, 3 days into the school year, we are getting an inside look at this new program in the classroom. 11Alive's Molly Oak live from Marietta Middle School. So, Molly, does the staff think that this is working for them so far?
Yeah, Jennifer, just a couple of days in, and the principal here tells me that they are already seeing a significant difference, and it's something that she would suggest to any school.
Teachers, please ensure all pouches have been locked.
The call to start the school day.
Okay, guys, power your phones off and lock your pouches.
Teachers at Marietta Middle School had students put their phones in a pouch.
It's going really, really well. Our teachers have shared a lot of positive feedback about the Yonder pouches and how well the students are responding to them.
Principal Deanna Brown says teachers and staff have already noticed an impact, saying students are more engaged in class.
I think that there used to be this pressure for kids to constantly look at what the text message was, what the notification was that was coming up for them. And now I think that pressure's gone away because they know that they can't access their phone until the end of the day.
And students?
My phone is actually in a pouch right now.
Say they see a benefit too.
Not being distracted in class. I like it because lots of kids are more communicating with others. I think it's definitely helping kids focus a little bit more, but then again, I really don't think it's necessary because there's some students that just would not use their phones.
As for Principal Brown, she says the biggest difference
in the relationships with the students, with their peers. That's been significant. You've just seen a huge uptick in how students interact with each other, how they're communicating with each other, and even with adults.
So even though the phones are locked up,
the kids can't open them. The only way to open them is the teacher has a lock.
she says the kids are communicating better.
So that's been really exciting to see the relationship building piece just thrive.
And it's not just happening here in Marietta. DeKalb County School District tells me it will also be starting a program on September 3rd. There will be 18 pilot schools. 10 will be using the pouches. 8 of them will be using phone lockers. Reporting live in Marietta, Molly Oak, 11Alive News.
Molly, thanks so much. Today, Dr. Brian Johnson's new role as Atlanta's public school superintendent officially started. He was sworn into the post and immediately got to work presiding over his very first meeting of the Atlanta Board of Education. Last month, you might remember Johnson was named as the sole finalist for the job. He previously served as executive vice chancellor and chief strategy officer at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Today, Johnson admitted his new role will require a bit of a shift in his day-to-day operations and how that will all play out.
Georgia's different than Tennessee. You don't have the community meetings, and so again, a good situation, good opportunity for me to gain more context across this community and hear from so many community members that deserve to be heard from.
So Dr. Johnson will also have a close connection to Atlanta Public Schools as his son also now attends a school in the district. And as students are heading back to class, we are asking for your help to make sure they have everything they need in terms of supplies. So 11Alive is partnering with Heritage Elementary School and McNair Middle School in Fulton County to help fulfill their Amazon wish lists. So you can scan the QR code right here and it will take you directly to those lists. You can also see things like school uniforms, notebooks, scissors, educational tools, and of course books. That drive runs through August 23rd. Here's Melissa.
Tropical storm Debbie, and this storm is going to be a rain maker. One thing I want to stress is the word tropical storm. That doesn't tell you the rain impacts in this weather system. Water will be the story of this hurricane, and water kills more people than wind does, than tornadoes do in tropical systems that make landfall. So right now those winds are 65 miles per hour. But you notice here at the storm, if you look at the storm, the entire eastern side of it, constant rainfall, this huge slug of tropical moisture working its way up the coast. And this is going to lead to rainfall amounts in some areas that could be up to 20 inches of rain. So you see here, big picture satellite and radar. Center of the storm there just north of Lake City. We've got a tornado watch out for the Savannah area. That'll run through the rest of the evening. And as we look at the rainfall amounts already from the last 24 hours, you see these few yellow bullseyes. Those are already places that have picked up about 10 to 12 inches of rainfall in the last 24 hours. Here in the metro, we've had some of the outermost little rain bands, not the constant sheet of rain, but a few showers have been wrapping around the backside of this thing. And we'll see a few of these over the next couple of days that are possible in our southeastern counties. But that steady sheet of rainfall, that is going to stay east of our area altogether. So those big impacts stay away from our North Georgia viewing area, but those big impacts will be felt across South Georgia, eastern Georgia. We still have the tropical storm warning in effect through the rest of the day, in through tomorrow as well. And that'll go south and east of Macon through Savannah, Brunswick, all the way down to Jacksonville Beach as well. Here's why Debbie, though, is going to stall. We've been talking about this big rainfall threat because the storm is slowing down. The storm tomorrow is situated over southeast Georgia. Tropical systems are like cars that don't have steering wheels, they don't have a foot brake, they don't have a gas pedal. They're just moving. They're steered by bigger features in the atmosphere. Debbie is trying to be pushed north by one big area of high pressure to the east. You see those arrows around it. Then to the west of it, it's getting steered to the south by a different area of high pressure. So this brings it to a snail's pace, kind of like a crawl speed. And you see on the spaghetti models, they have it moving up the Georgia coast, and then it kind of meanders around for a couple of days through Wednesday and Thursday, and finally we should see it picking up some forward speed. Models still not in great agreement about whether that forward speed takes it straight up the coast of the Carolinas or whether that forward speed brings it a little bit further back inland. That is something we're watching closely here over the next couple of days. And even though as of right now we think our impacts are incredibly minimal, a little shift in the track west would bring some better rain chances our way at the end of the week. You can see the rainfall amounts, that yellow bullseye over the Charleston area. Those are more than 10 inches of rainfall expected over the next 5 days. I'll show you closer into the metro, though. That yellow color, the big rainfall totals, stays east of our area altogether. So here in the metro, very little in the way of rainfall. We'll keep our rain chances through tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at about a 20%. But if that little wobble, when it's meandering off the coast, brings it back inland towards Georgia, our rainfall chances would go up a little bit at the end of the week. So again, the storm moving through Georgia tonight, then moving offshore late tomorrow, and then kind of curving back in by Wednesday. As of right now, the National Hurricane Center cone of uncertainty takes it in up through the Carolinas. That would keep us mostly dry at the end of the week, but a little shift in those models would bring those rain chances back up a little bit at the end of the work week. So again, the storm track going along the Georgia coast very slowly. Greatest impact stay away from our area altogether. We will see some breezy winds the next couple of days, though, and that's something we have seen today. Those wind gusts in Atlanta about 30 miles per hour. We'll see some of those wind gusts through tonight, tomorrow, and even into Wednesday, still remaining around 20 to 25 miles per hour. So Forecast track's going to take the storm mostly away from our area. For us here the next couple of days, we're tracking temperatures that'll be in the 90s, 20% rain chances all the way through the end of the week. Temperatures will stay in the 90s as we look at the start of the weekend as well. And I'm keeping things dry on Sunday. Bobeth?
All right, I'll take it from here, Melissa. Thanks so much. Farmers in South Georgia are bracing for Debbie's impacts. 11Alive's Teresa Bowles found out which crops could be affected and the potential costs for farmers.
Farms in South Georgia are preparing for the worst.
When it is a cold for other farmers, it is a pneumonia for black farmers.
Worker Dr. Jamal Teray says the Promised Land farms have been in black hands since the 80s, but the threat to that land is growing.
So we're not getting concerned about that. Not want to have waterlogged fields, especially when we just planted some of the peas right now and did some of the transplants.
Director of UGA's Weather Network, Pam Knox, says it's not unlikely. She compares Tropical Storm Debbie to the likes of Hurricanes Idalia and Michael, with the type of heavy rain and flooding that can ruin a harvest.
Agriculture is the biggest industry in Georgia. We know that the economic cost of Alberta was over $1 billion, and that was in 1994 dollars.
Debbie's potential could not only wipe out a year's worth of income for farmers, it can trickle down to the tables of consumers.
If the vegetables are ready to be harvested and they're on the ground and they get hit by floodwater, they cannot sell them because it's a food safety issue, because you don't know what's in that floodwater. If they've got seeds in the ground, as they're starting to do, those could easily get washed off.
Vegetables and fruits are a big part of Teray's business, so as he initiates Plan B, he prays Debbie has mercy on his farm. In Watkinsville, Teresa Bowles, 11Alive News.
During his 90-minute campaign speech at Georgia State University on Saturday, former President Donald Trump spent a surprising amount of time attacking Georgia's Governor Brian Kemp.
That's right. The two of them had been allies until the Republican governor declined to help Trump overturn the election in 2020. 11Alive's Doug Richards joining us with more on the attacks and the backlash. Doug?
Yeah, Trump and Kemp have had frosty relations really ever since the 2020 election, but that issue seemed to abate somewhat until Trump reignited it on Saturday.
Your governor. I'm not a fan of your governor.
Donald Trump started slowly, but then spent almost 6 straight minutes bad-mouthing Republican Brian Kemp. Kemp won 2 elections in Georgia, and unlike Trump, polls show he has substantial bipartisan approval.
Kemp is very bad for the Republican Party. He wouldn't do anything.
Trump is talking about Kemp's refusal to call what Kemp said would have been an illegal special session of the legislature to try to overturn the 2020 election vote in Georgia. Republican former state Senator P.K. Martin wrote on X, "A good way to lose a swing state is to attack that state's most popular elected leader." Republican State Representative Lauren Daniel wrote, "Donald Trump claiming Governor Kemp is bad for the Republican Party is the most out-of-touch thing he could have possibly said." And an ex-user called 3-Year Letterman wrote, "Even my Uncle Gary, 3 cases of Natty Light deep, isn't stupid enough to challenge Brian Kemp in Georgia." Kemp himself took a bit of offense on X when Trump mentioned his wife Marty as being part of what Trump views as a problem. Kemp reiterated that he wants the Democrats defeated this fall, and he told Trump to leave his family out of it. Jonathan.
All right, Doug Richards, thanks so much for that. Well, sticking with the race for the White House, Vice President Kamala Harris will now not make a stop this Friday in Georgia. She had planned to showcase the presumptive Democratic ticket in Savannah, but the path of the storm system that we've been talking about, which was Hurricane Debbie, has now forced the event to be canceled. Harris is now expected to announce her running mate sometime tomorrow. And speaking of that, it is now reported that it's going to be a 2-horse race. One name, of course, being mentioned is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. His state's 19 electoral votes are seen as a lucrative prize for both Harris and Trump. The other name, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, he's become a more vocal advocate for Harris in recent weeks, and his state, of course, sits close to 2 crucial battlegrounds, Wisconsin and Michigan.
And a red alert underway. Looks like it may be clearing soon, though. But look right here. This is Highway 85, just by Highway 53. All of right here is locked down. The highway still locked down. This, again, causing some massive delays for those going north on 85. Even the alternative route is backed up. The alternative route, Highway 124, is now at 7 miles per hour. And look at all the cars waiting to get through on 85 north, just by where this accident happened. Of course, we'll keep checking on your traffic and bring you more.
MARTA's Kensington Station crosswalk in DeKalb County is in need of a mural design, so MARTA Artbound is now looking for qualified artists. The public art program is calling for artists and designers with a strong portfolio of work. Officials will narrow it down to 3 artists who will each be paid $500 for creating design proposals. The selected artists will receive $5,000 for the final design. The art project is set to be a safe guide helping children traveling to the station's soccer field from the Kensington Station. Applications are due next Friday, August 16th. Visit MARTA's Artbound's Instagram page at MARTA_Artbound for more information on how you can apply. Right now, there is a critical need for blood donations. The Red Cross has recently canceled more than 100 blood drives for various reasons, and that's limited the amount of available blood for people in need. 11Alive's Karis Belger explains why this could have long-term effects right here in Georgia.
When it comes to blood donations, Garrett Reed says every drop counts, now more than ever.
Things are very serious. I would describe it as an emergency blood shortage. We need units right now, and we need them for at least the month of August.
Reed oversees more than 8,000 blood drives per year with the American Red Cross. But lately, he says the supply has dried up.
Because we've had a lot of heat impact and weather impact across the country, which has caused over 100 blood drives to be canceled coast to coast. Tropical Storm Debbie currently moving through the state of Georgia. It has already impacted dozens of units of blood drives across the state. And I anticipate we'll have even more impact as we look to keep our donors, sponsors, and volunteers and staff safe.
Putting a strain on the vein of donations running throughout the state.
We may have something that is collected in Athens that comes into Atlanta. We may have something collected in Atlanta that goes and supports our Savannah team.
And with Tropical Storm Debbie already making its mark in Georgia, Reed explains it's more important than ever to keep the donations flowing.
So rolling up your sleeves is not only something that makes you feel good, it is really critical to the overall health of our community.
In Atlanta, Karis Belger, 11Alive News.
Well, training camp has garnered a lot of excitement around the Atlanta Falcons, and now they go on the road for the first time this season.
That's right. Joint practices start on Tuesday with the Dolphins in South Florida. Our Maria Martin is joining us here in studio with more on the Falcons' upcoming trip.
Yeah, guys, so the Falcons, they practiced up in Flowery Branch this morning. I was there bright and early. It was kind of an easy practice because now they are wheels up for Miami. They're preparing for their first preseason game this Friday, and Atlanta has joint practices with the Miami Dolphins before the two face off in preseason game number 1. Now, we did not hear from head coach Raheem Morris this morning, but don't expect to see a lot of those starters out there on Friday. We also already know that the plans as of right now are not to see Kirk Cousins in any of those preseason games, so don't hold your breath for that. But it will be the perfect opportunity for those guys vying to make a roster spot to show what they can do.
You get to hit somebody in a different color jersey so you can let loose a little bit more, and the energy level is going to pick up a little bit and, change the scenery as well, get out of Flowery Branch for a few days. And so I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great for all of us to get down there, new staff, new everyone, kind of going through that process together to see what it looks like. But for the guys, I think they're just happy to go hit somebody besides their friends and teammates in the locker room.
So no Kirk Cousins means that there are plenty of opportunities for the other 3 quarterbacks that are on the roster right now. Michael Penix Jr., of course, Taylor Heineke, and Nathan Roque. A reminder that under current league rules, the final cut date is August 27th. It used to be that there were multiple cut dates in the preseason, but now it is just one. So a lot of guys will get playing time. No Kirk Cousins, though, even though I know he just wants to get out there so bad. We'll see him eventually.
A lot of folks want to see him, too, but also, as you mentioned, it's going to be tough to cut that number down.
Yeah,
so this
always
is a good way to figure that out.
It always is. It's got to get down to 53 at some point. There's a lot of guys on this roster that are going to be very close to making it or not. So this will be a very interesting couple of weeks here coming up.
And we know you'll be watching, Maria. Thank you so much. Well, the heat is on in Paris. Athletes at the Summer Olympic Games are dealing with scorching temperatures today as they compete.
That's right. Our team in Paris, Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse, are showing us one way our Olympians are trying to stay cool.
Hello from Paris on a hot day. So hot, there's actually heat warnings for the athletes.
So we have these little funky vests, and you know who can explain it is Harris Patel, the athletic trainer for Team USA, all the way from Norcross, Georgia.
Hey. So these vests are Nike cooling vests. So what we do is have bladders, ice vest bladders that we freeze, and then when the athletes are actually warming up or after they finish warming up, we use them with sprinters, long distance runners, and keep the body temperature down is our number one goal.
It's awesome because, I mean, even the heat is really intense. This week's supposed to be the hottest week of the Olympics so far, I'm hearing.
And it's amazing because I can feel the difference because it feels like, is it in my head or is my cooler blood circulating?
No, the cooler blood is actually, that's why we use them, is that, you know, we've done the research on them, and so we measure these vests for all the athletes. They bring them, we have hundreds of bladders that are already frozen, and we have a freezer in our tent, and we make those because there's actually 4 in each. There's in the back, in the front, and so what that does is helps to keep the core temperature down of our body.
And standing in this heat, I can say I feel a lot more comfortable than when I didn't have it.
I love the behind the scenes because everyone at home gets to watch our athletes do amazing things like Noel Lyles, you know, but this support team, I mean, you are Team USA, and that is a huge, huge part of the Olympic experience and why they can be so successful. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an honor to kind of be here at my 5th games and, you know, helping with these athletes. It could be as simple as nutrition, massage, have a cooling vest ready for them, but it makes all of the difference of the little steps that we take to kind of help them on our sports medicine team.
And I gotta say, he's repping the A, he's repping UGA, so all the way from the A to Paris. Harris Patel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And can we keep these?
We're bringing them back to Georgia.
It's hot in Georgia,
We're bringing them back to Georgia.
It definitely is hot here, and we want to point out some programming changes. The Olympics are preempting 11Alive News weekdays and weekends, and while the games are on TV, you can get the latest on big stories and weather 24/7 through our 11Alive streaming app. That's 11Alive Plus. And during the week, we'll be on each morning from 4:30 until 7 and streaming at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. Then we're back on air at 6 p.m. and again for 11Alive News at 11 right after the Olympics in prime time. And 11Alive News is also watching dozens of athletes from Georgia compete. As you just saw there, Cheryl Preheim and Faith Jesse are still in Paris telling all the big stories. Their reports will be featured during our 2 Olympic specials airing Monday through Saturday. The All Access Pass is at 7 p.m., followed by Olympic Zone at 7:30.
And it's certainly great to see everything that they are bringing us. That's some insider information that you don't necessarily know about.
Yep,
so.
from a Georgian.
Yeah, and that content is wonderful. All of it's available on our website, as the news always is, on 11alive.com. There's also everything that you want to know about the Olympics and so much more, including weather and local news on our 11Alive app. Thanks so much for being with us.